Broadcasting live from the Business Radio X studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio. Brought to you by OnPay. Built in Atlanta, OnPay is the top-rated payroll and HR software anywhere. Get 1 month free at onpay.com. Now, here's your host.
Welcome to Small Business Fuel. I'm your host, Paul Wilson Jr. I'm the Area Director of the UGA Small Business Development Center at Georgia State University. And we're excited to have another show and broadcast to bring one another small business community leader for your not just listening pleasure, but definitely with some great information and tools. In particular, again, if you want to do business with the state of Georgia, specifically with GDOT, the Georgia Department of Transportation. So I'm going to introduce my special guest for today, and then we're going to looking forward to a great conversation with her. So Emmanuella Myrthil is a disadvantaged business enterprise manager, or DBE, with the program management consultant for the Major Mobility Investment Program, or MMIP, within the Office of Innovative Delivery at the Georgia Department of Transportation. Over the past 15 years, she has played a major role in providing oversight and guidance for federally funded programs for local construction projects throughout the state of Georgia. She served as a public relations specialist, an environmental planner, and a project manager in the transportation industry. As HNTB's DBE manager, she utilizes creative and engaging strategies to raise industry awareness and diversify DBE participation in Georgia's largest alternative delivery program. Through innovative learning sessions and business development workshops, Emmanuella and her team focus on preparing DBEs and SBEs for major works with GDOT and MARTA. Well, welcome, Emmanuella.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good. We're excited to have you here and get a chance to discuss your role with GDOT and what you do to help small business, but in particular minority-owned businesses, work. How's everything over there during this kind of interesting times that we're living in right now?
Definitely interesting. Everything is good. We are still working. We're still moving. We're still operating business as usual. We are not slowing down.
Got you. So everyone, again, I read your intro, but why don't you, in your own words, if you will, just kind of give our audience just an idea of kind of the role of your role overall, but also like some of the maybe projects that you're working on that you help to manage.
Well, as you said, I am the DBE manager with HNTB. HNTB is the program management consultant firm for GDOT, and with GDOT, we are helping to administer the Major Mobility Investment Program. And what that means for me on a day-to-day, it means a lot of things. It means helping with our outreach efforts. It means looking at what our DBE utilization is looking like on specific construction projects. It means providing mentorship and over-the-shoulder opportunities with our own DBE partners. It means really what it really means, and I know that a lot of us don't think of it this way, I am essentially a civil rights practitioner doing everything I can every day to make sure that we are removing barriers in the industry for small businesses to participate, and we are providing the training and the resources and the opportunities and the relationships for them to prosper in the transportation field. That's really what that looks like for us and my team every day.
Awesome. And I love how you kind of put that civil rights practitioner, because it definitely, and there's another gentleman, John Hope Bryant, you probably know him, that calls it silver rights, SILVER, right? Because it relates to the business side of these interactions that we have. So for those who are not aware of what MMIP is, or the Major Mobility Investment Program, with GDOT, what is it and why is it a big deal?
So the Major Mobility Investment Program is right now one of the largest programs that GDOT has ever had in their history. It's really one of the largest transportation infrastructure improvement programs in the nation. It started off as an $11 billion program, and even now that number has changed. It's a big deal because of the way that we're delivering these projects and the difference in the way that we are interacting with our public-private partnerships to accelerate the delivery of projects. These projects are really big projects, and they're going to add capacity and improve mobility, and they're going to change the transportation, the way that we move around in this region as we know it. It's a big deal because there is DBE participation scattered all over this program. It's a program that has more than 11 projects. And then within these projects, there are professional service opportunities. And then there are construction professional opportunities. And so to be part of what is happening right now with those projects, it could make a huge impact in the lifetime of a small business.
Gotcha. And so those who may not be familiar with, let's say, major mobility and under the umbrella of GDOT, could you describe some of the projects that it kind of falls under that umbrella?
Yeah. And so right now, the way that the projects are set up, there are 4 major interchange projects, and those projects run along the corridor of I-285 and I-20. We have a project along I-285 with near Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. We have another project in Savannah, I-16, I-95. We have 5 major express lanes projects. And again, the corridors along I-85, East Side, Top End, West Side, State Route 400. We have 4 major interstate widening projects. I-85 Phase 1 is getting ready to close out soon. I-85 Phase 2 is coming up. We have a project down near Macon, the first commercial vehicle lanes project in Georgia. And then we have 4 improvement projects that we call the AIP projects. And those projects were basically broken out of some of the other projects so that we could provide the small business opportunity, smaller contracts that may be right-sized for their capacity. And so we didn't want to exhaust or really debilitate the system as we know it now. We know now that we do not have enough DBEs to participate. And so we are looking, GDOT listened to feedback from the industry, and they decided, okay, let's put these smaller projects out there, and let's help prepare our DBEs and our SDEs to maneuver into this space so that they have the opportunity to participate in this program.
Gotcha. And what specifically, as you mentioned the corridors and the roads. So what kind of actually work, again, if we have small business owners that will be listening to this and say, hey, I could do that kind of work. What specific are some of the specific activities or business opportunities for these small businesses?
I mean, I would say anything and everything that falls under construction is an opportunity. And that could be anything from erosion control to quality control to lighting to mowing to fencing to tolling. I couldn't even begin to name all of the opportunities that could be associated with any of these projects because, again, they are so big and they're vast. It could be construction engineering. It could be bridge inspection. It could be everything. It could be a lot.
Gotcha. So kind of sounds like you're saying that if you're in business, you need to at least check it out to see, because you all might be doing something that somebody actually provides, even if they aren't aware of it off the top of their own head.
That's right. And one of the things that we also want to say to our small business community who may not be DBE certified, we definitely want to encourage them to look at their service provisions and really maybe communicate with our office or get in touch with our office, get in touch with GDOT to find out, or get in touch with MH Miles, get in touch with CEI, which are supportive services, so you can find out how can I transfer my service provision into the transportation field so that I can become eligible to participate on these type of projects or contracts.
Absolutely. And I know, again, if anyone, as you've been here in Atlanta at any time, right, driving around the different roads and highways that we have in Georgia. We know, again, Atlanta in particular, but also Georgia across the state, right, is still growing. So no wonder, right, we need all these construction projects happening. So it's not like it's really a benefit or an opportunity if you're a small business at this time to be in the state of Georgia because again, it sounds like things are still moving forward, although we're in a pandemic. But sounds like, as you mentioned earlier, these construction projects are still going on because of
That's correct.
The need that's here.
That's correct. And I mean, you're right. We are in a pandemic, but the transportation industry, it's a good industry to be in. We're never going to stop driving. We're not going to stop transporting goods. We're not going to stop moving. Freight is not going to stop. These things they're essential to our lifestyles. And so this is definitely, even in the face of COVID-19, this is still a place that you want to put your foundation in, because it can be lucrative.
Absolutely. And of course, with all of our guests, you all are doing some amazing things and for small business owners, but also kind of sounds like you're this is not just a job for you, but that you're pretty passionate about, working with small businesses, in particular DBEs. Could you give us a little insight maybe on your background working with DBEs and kind of how you got into this role and what motivates you to really help small businesses?
Fortunately for me, I've been in the GDOT space for almost, I guess, now going on 20 years.
Okay.
And while I worked at GDOT, I certainly got a good understanding for all of the insides and outsides of transportation, and I got a really good understanding of what's happening in the background of construction and transportation. So having that understanding, having the environmental understanding, having the PR understanding, I think it did a good job of preparing me for where I am right now. What I will say, this has certainly opened my eyes. This whole experience has opened my eyes in a way that I could not have been open to unless I was already in this chair or in this position. And just, again, looking at all of the opportunities and everything that's happening with our projects and everything that's happening around the state, for me, it is very motivating to be behind something that can literally change the history of Georgia, as well as the history and the legacy of the small businesses that are attached to these type of programs. I think it's amazing. And I've said it to my team, like, we come to work every day and we are really creating history with the things that we are doing. And then at the same time, supporting the history that we come from every time we come to work. And so for me, it is not just a check the box thing. It is absolutely important for me to see what is coming out of our efforts and our activities, and to see the state of small business change as a direct result of these type of programs and the resources and the relationships and the contacts. I think it's amazing.
It definitely is. And so, as you're, again, we're communicating to small businesses to get them informed, what are some key steps you would share with them to get in position, right, for these incredible opportunities, as you mentioned, that literally could change their business, their generationally speaking? How do they get prepared to get ready for these opportunities?
In a nutshell, I would say get opportunity ready or get corporate ready. And what that means is take advantage of every single resource out there. Some are free, some are paid. And if they're paid, take advantage of it, because now you're investing in your business. And there are too many resources at no cost that are out there for us to still be in a place where we don't know how to maneuver in this particular space. Again, I mentioned CEI and MH Miles. These are two of GDOT's supportive service consultants that are here literally for helping you to succeed in this space. And what does that look like? That looks like, what does your capability statement look like? What does your bonding capacity look like? What does your marketing look like? How are you branding yourself? How are you communicating? There's so many different things that can be done to enhance your business and to make sure that you stand out. And there's so many people who are eager to help you do that. And again, if you're not clear on how to get in touch with those people, then get in touch with our office so that we can get you in touch with those resources, because they are available. They are out there. Now, one of the things I will say, though, is if you're not DBE certified, you definitely want to look into DBE certification. And while it might be quite a process, it will be worth it for you, because, again, it'll give you access to these contracts that you would not have access to without that certification. But the other thing that we need to be mindful of, particularly with the GDOT space, is once you get the DBE certification, you do have to go an extra step or two to be pre-qualified as a consultant in certain areas or to be registered as a subcontractor through GDOT. And again, even if that sounds like mumbo jumbo to you today, there are people in place to help you go through these processes to help you get to where you need to get to. And so it's really just a matter of getting connected and staying connected and asking the right questions and being at the workshops and doing everything you need to do. If you are not aware, the right connection can help you to acquire what you need in order to succeed in this space.
Absolutely. And, you've heard the term, your net worth is tied to your network, right? And your circle of relationships. And there's definitely, as you mentioned, so many resources that small business can get access to, including the SBDC, but even others outside of us that can work with small businesses to get ready. And sometimes, as you just mentioned, some small businesses may not think they're ready, but then they don't put themselves in position to get ready, or they don't think they're eligible, but they don't know all the details. So they don't really do the research to say, I actually could do this, but let me just get these 2 or 3 things in order, and then I'm in position. So it sounds like you're also saying don't disqualify yourself without truly investigating the process.
Yeah, and it's definitely worth investigating. I think another thing, you were saying something and I thought about something, but I would say definitely don't disqualify yourself, and definitely do everything you can to get the information. There's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of help out there. Resources through the SBDC. I don't know why I forgot to say that, but
okay.
I feel like it's it's such a good time to start to get in the know, right? Because again, like I didn't say it, but these projects are going to be around for a long time. These contracts, they're going to be around. These projects, they're going to need maintenance for 30 years. Like, this is the time to get yourself together. And this is the time to understand, especially right now with, I don't want to call it downtime because it's not, but this is the time to get sharp on your capability statement. And then think about, what is your digital presence looking like, right? Because right now a lot of us are communicating virtually. And so what does that look like? How are you helping your company to get recognized on the internet? How are you reaching out to people? How are you trying to connect? All of these things matter. How are you identifying new opportunities? Who are you connecting with? Every single bit matters right now, especially with what's happening right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, exactly. It definitely does. So now in the process of getting businesses onboarded, can you describe actually your onboarding process and how, or orientation process, or what do you all use to help get these businesses in the pipeline, if you will, for these opportunities?
So we don't necessarily have an onboarding process, but what we have done with the MMIP DBE office, we have facilitated business matchmaking events, and we call that DBE Connect. And those events are only open to DBEs. And we do that by identifying DBEs that we know our contractors and our consultants are going to be seeking based on the type of work that they're going to give out to their partners. And so once we identify what does consultant A and what does contractor B need and what do they need from a DBE, we facilitate an event that puts those two entities at the table so that they can start talking about what can a partnership between us look like? How are you going to bring the advantage to my company? And how can I leverage this relationship so that we can seek opportunities together and win? And so that's one of the things that we do to help facilitate entry, right? Another thing that we do, that we've done and we will do again, we've conducted what we call a GDOT boot camp for everybody who has questions on how do I conduct business with GDOT? Well, let's help you. We'll get the right people in the room. We'll get the auditor in the room. We'll get the procurement officer in the room. We'll get the contract specialist in the room, and you can ask those questions so that you are better aware of how to navigate the system, especially if you've never done business with GDOT before. So we have different networking events and different educational workshops that we put out there to help bring and raise the awareness around how to be involved in this space. And so another thing that we do, we facilitate what we call the DBE Advantage workshops. And those workshops are peer-to-peer. So we have one of our DBE partners come in and talk to you, small business owner, about the experience of owning the business and navigating the business in this alternative delivery space, in this consultant space, so that you get firsthand from your peer, what do you need to be able to operate in this space? And what did it look like for me? And what can it look like for you? Another thing that we do, we travel all over the state, basically talking about MMIP and all of the projects related to it. And we call that the Brown Bag series. And we go from district to district within GDOT, and we do our best to attract small businesses and DBEs, not only to talk about MMIP, but also to talk about some of the local opportunities that are available in each district that a DBE could be part of.
Right. And actually, say it again.
I said, does that answer your question?
Oh, absolutely. And as a matter of fact, as you were talking, I was going to mention and have you bring it up, and you just did, about the fact that this covers the entire state of Georgia, right? So you don't have to have your business in Atlanta. So they get most of the focus, right, in Georgia. But these are covers the entire state. So how many districts are there, did you say?
Oh, how many districts? I think there are 13 districts.
13. Okay.
Transportation districts.
Gotcha.
Shame on me for not knowing off the top of my head. I believe it's 13.
No, and right. And again, the whole point is, no matter how many, what the number is, right, is that, again, you can, or even if you are in Atlanta, you can still do a project, right, in South Georgia, right? So there's a lot of flexibility in terms of where the needs and the projects are.
Absolutely. If you are a DBE in Atlanta and you're able to mobilize in Savannah, where the first project is, we definitely want you out there working.
I'll go to Savannah. I volunteer for that one. Right.
Okay. And let's say you happen to be a small business or a DBE tuning in from a neighboring state. Mm-hmm. You can be interstate certified and you can come here and you can work.
Got you. So the key is, like I said, they would just need to be certified here. But again, if you're in business, you're open. Sounds like they're just qualified businesses stepping up.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, what about if you're a small business and you're looking at, let's say, maybe the scope of the project and maybe it is bigger than what you can do by yourself. How do you all view joint ventures or partnerships where maybe 2 or 3 businesses coming together to join together, work on a project? Do you all allow that to happen?
So that's a little different, and that I have not seen GDOT approach it that way, because a DBE so joint ventures are not certified, because once it becomes a joint venture, it becomes a different business.
Right.
And so you would have to be a certified joint venture. And I have not seen that. Okay.
And that's good to know, because on the federal side of contracting, they kind of encourage that. But again, depending on where you're operating, you need to know the rules of the game, right? And so someone shouldn't make an assumption that just because it happens maybe in one arena, that it can automatically happen, in another arena. So yes, it's good to know. Now, so even if it wasn't let's say maybe a legal joint venture, but let's just say a strategic partnership, and maybe have the DBE is in this case the prime or the majority, right? But they sub some of the work out. Is that allowed?
Yes, that is allowed.
Okay. Got you. So then you could have some companies that get together and get potentially a little creative, as long as it meets your qualifications. If by yourself maybe you don't have enough capacity, you potentially could partner with another company to create that capacity. Just so I'm clear and the audience is clear. Would that be an accurate statement?
It is accurate. But the way that the DBE credit would be calculated, that would be different, because then they would have to figure out who was going to get the DBE participation credit within this entity that we are right now. So, but that would be between those 2 DBEs or 3 DBEs, however many that is. But we certainly have situations where we see DBEs who contract with other DBEs to do part of their part of the work that is being required. But the other thing I will mention is, there are small contracts, maintenance contracts that GDOT has, and those are really great starting points for DBEs who either want to get in the GDOT space or DBEs who want to grow in the GDOT space, because, again, those are those right-sized first opportunity contracts that they can get a handle around, and they have the help of the Business Center indicator through MH Miles.
Gotcha. Years and years ago in my previous career, I spent some time in supplier diversity, and one of the things that we would encourage companies to do is don't forsake the small opportunities, right? Because those small opportunities could be door openers to larger. You get in, do well, right, and then it creates an opportunity potentially in the future for a bigger opportunity. But what would be your encouragement along those lines? To help companies, like I said, take some baby steps, if you will, to get in the door and then hopefully maybe expand later.
Just that, right? Just that. Continue to seek those opportunities with your local municipalities and continue to search out and seek those opportunities with GDOT's smaller programs and see where that takes you so that you can get to that place where you're trying to get your business to.
Gotcha. Well, is there anything else that we either haven't covered or maybe want to go a little bit deeper that you would really want, again, the small business community to know about the work that you do and the projects that are available?
I guess I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's certainly worth going on GDOT's website and looking up the MMIP section to look at what are these projects and their timelines. It's certainly worth getting some understanding on what alternative delivery means and what that means for a schedule, what that means for the timing of how we communicate. It's certainly worth trying to do the research and getting in touch with the different organizations that are typically part of these programs and projects. It's certainly worth attending GDOT industry forums. I don't know what else to say.
Right.
It's certainly worth getting in contact with GDOT or our office.
Right. So it's worth all of that. And probably especially like I say that these could be definitely business changing, potentially even generational changing opportunity from that standpoint. And it's great to have, say, someone like yourself who's on the inside advocating, right, for these small businesses and educating them and helping them kind of navigate, right, through the process. And don't allow I'll just say this, don't allow the process it's in and of itself to intimidate you, right? There's enough help, like Emmanuella and others that can help you navigate through whatever, challenge or obstacle that may be there. Sometimes that obstacle, right, is just learning and understanding, being aware. Once you're aware of something, right, then you can kind of make some adjustments from there.
Yeah, and I would certainly say, just to add a little bit to what you just said, I'm here because GDOT wants to do business with DBEs, right? I'm in place because GDOT wants to change our relationship with the small business and the DBE business industry. That they saw that it was very important to put someone like me in place, right, to manage and oversee and facilitate this type of activity. Kudos to GDOT for recognizing we want to do something different in this space. We want to innovate, and we want it to be meaningful. We want it to be substantive. We want it to be practical. And without their vision and their leadership, I would not even be here. And so it's just wonderful that GDOT is mindful and concerned, and they want to see this happen. So that's a great space to be in when you have the support and the leadership of GDOT.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure our listeners, of course, after all this great information, want to know how can they get in touch with you or your department in order to, again, kind of get started with this process?
So anybody listening can get in touch with us by either emailing or calling us. Our email, in fact, I'll give my specific, So our email address is dbemmip@dot.ga.gov. Again, that's dbemmip@dot.ga.gov. Or they can call us at 404-946-5764. Again, that is 404-946-5764. And when you call those numbers, you'll get either myself or Natasha or Leandria or Kiana. You'll get anybody from the A team.
Good stuff. And you all definitely have a dynamic team over there. I met one of your other team members, Natasha. She's been great from that standpoint, even helping educate me on MMIP and what you all are doing. So it's definitely been a pleasure to meet you all, and definitely look forward. Again, as SBDC can partner with you as much as possible to help small businesses. We definitely want to make ourselves, available as a resource from that standpoint. So again, I'm just going to give you any final thoughts or words of encouragement or anything that you want to share with our audience.
Yeah, I want to say that it's great to be partnered with you because, again, that just helps us to expand our efforts and just really increase our footprint in terms of getting this information out and working collectively to do what we can to change legacy, really.
Absolutely. And definitely, again, I'm excited and definitely looking forward to more collaborative opportunities in the future. So appreciate you being here as my special guest today. And hopefully we'll be able to bring you back in the future and have you come on Small Business Radio Fuel again.
Definitely. Thank you.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Well, again, my name again is Paul Wilson Jr. I'm the host of Small Business Fuel Radio. Again, we want to be a resource for you as a small business owner, bringing you all types of guests and experts from different sectors of the small business arena. That our whole goal is help provide you resources that will grow your business. So again, you can reach out to us. Again, if you're looking for consulting or even training opportunities to help you grow your business, and just you can hit our website at www.georgiasbdc.org. My office is in Atlanta. So if you just want to put georgiasbdc.org/Atlanta, again, to get directly to my office. Or if you're listening across the state, again, we have 17 locations that you can also get in touch with them also. So again, thank you for joining us for this session, and look forward to the next session coming up with another great guest. All right. Have a great day and go succeed in business.
Today's episode of Atlanta Business Radio is brought to you by OnPay. Built in Atlanta, OnPay is the top-rated payroll and HR software anywhere. Get 1 month free at onpay.com.